Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. The OP of our first story bought a house and was met with not the best neighbors in the world who wanted him to do a certain job for free. Well, let's see how that ends. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Neighbor wants me to give them free house wash. I should start this out by saying I just purchased my first house and my profession is washing houses. My stepdad owns the company, but I'm his second best employee. He pretty much gave me permission to use whatever chemicals and equipment I wanted to. Now we not only wash houses, but we do decks, fences, concrete roofs, etc. So my first thing I wanted to do was give my house a complete cleaning from top to bottom. After washing my entire house plus fence and driveway, I see my neighbor walking towards me as I wrap up my hoses. Now, at this point, I'd only been moved in maybe a week and have not yet met with anybody that lives on my street, mainly because I just prefer to stay inside to myself and have no interest in meeting new people. So we introduce ourselves and talk for a bit about the community that's been built in this little subdivision. So now, enter the part where she turns into a choosing beggar. CB: So since you already have all your equipment here, how about you just go ahead and wash my house for me? I turn to look at her house, and from what I see, there's only one really moldy green side of the house. The rest wasn't what I refer to as clean, but it wasn't awful either. Me: Well, I suppose I can wash that one side of the house for you if you'd like, but you'd have to pay if you wanted any other work done. Oh, I thought you could just go ahead and do everything you did to your house and do it for me as your way of being welcomed into the neighborhood. I just don't think it's fair that you move in here and get to have such a clean house and mine be so dirty. What I did to my house would have cost another person over $1,000 after factoring in labor costs. Most of our basic house washes are cheap, but after you factor in decks, roof, big fence, and driveway, you could easily have 8 to 9 hours into a professional job. Me: No, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for you. As I stated previously, I'd only be able to wash that one side of your house for you, as it wouldn't take me too long or cost the company that much money. If you wanted everything I did to my house, it'd cost XXX amount of money for my time and the chemicals provided. Well, I'm glad I wasted my time talking to you so I know exactly the type of person that's moved into this neighborhood. I hope you enjoy your new house, but please don't expect to be invited to any events we might hold for the rest of the community here. Since I spoke with her, I've met a couple of the other people here, and they state that she can be very hard to get along with. The rest of the community seems nice, though, so I don't think I'm missing out on too much by not being her friend. And our second story. Drive on my lawn without asking me? Fine. Hope you like tire damage. I live in an end-unit townhouse. We have a side yard that, while it's legally my property, I need to leave it accessible because it's the only way for my neighbors to bring things into their backyard when they can't carry them through their house. So back to the story. I got home yesterday and noticed that there were tire tracks going all the way up my side yard and onto my patio and soda cans thrown into a hole I recently dug so I could plant a pear tree. Which really pissed me off because while my side yard isn't taken care of, long grass and way too many weeds, it's still my property. Now this wasn't the first time, this happens pretty much every summer. I'll come home after a day out and there'll be tire tracks in my yard and cans everywhere. Sometimes a neighbor will come up and ask if they can drive up my side yard the next day so they don't have to carry heavy things, and I'll say yes, because thank you for asking. But when someone doesn't ask and I come home to the flattened grass and cans of soda thrown around my yard, ugh. So last night after eating, I was digging around in my laundry room/storage room looking for my toolkit because my dining table needed fixing when I accidentally set my hand down on a couple of nails that were loose on the floor. And that's when it came to me. I collected as many nails as I could find and put them in a plastic bag and set it by my front door. On my way out today, while it was still dark, I grabbed the bag and carefully set the nails on and near the tire tracks hidden from view by the overgrown grass while quietly laughing to myself, because when I came home yesterday, the people who lived 2 houses down from me were talking how they were going to drive up my yard to make it easier to get their new barbecue into their yard. I literally walked right past them and said, "Hi," and they even returned my greeting, but didn't think to ask me if it was okay. So today when I get home, fingers crossed. In the past, I've had my nicer neighbors, the ones I complain about this to, tell me to install a fence, not a large wooden one like the ones that separate my property from my neighbors, but one with a gate so people can still drive up and they'll have to get my permission beforehand. And that way, if someone gets into my yard without asking me, they'd have to cut a lock so I can just call the police on them. I don't know if that last part about the police is true, but I think I might install that fence because I do want to get my yard in good shape so I can get started with a garden. As I'm typing this, I realize that I've actually had a lot of horrible neighbors and gotten revenge on almost all of them. I mean, I once had a neighbor try to kill a groundhog that lived under the front step. A neighbor throw glass and beer cans over our shared fence, leading me to step once on a piece of glass from a wine bottle, and a neighbor cut down a city-planted tree that wasn't even on their property. Update. I got home about 30 minutes ago, and sure enough, in my side yard, there was a large black truck of my neighbor's 2 doors down. I couldn't help myself and start laughing. The 2 men came around from behind my house and asked me what was so funny. I could see that the tires on the left side of the car had some nails in them, so I very nicely pointed it out to them. They then started arguing with each other, blaming the other one for spilling the nails. As I started towards my front door, I told them to ask me next time they wanted to drive up my yard and offered to replace their tires if they bought them and paid me for my labor. About 10 minutes later, they knocked on my door and apologized before going home. They also gave me a plastic bag full of the other nails I'd put out, and next Sunday, for $100 per tire, I'm going to be replacing their tires. Honestly, I'm happy. I'm getting $300. They're going to be out $400, which is apparently less than the auto shops near us. They only are going to have 1 car for the next week, and I'll be having 1 less car driving into my yard. And I definitely think they're going to ask me next time. Update. So I've spent the last hour reading about the laws and even spoke to my lawyer, and with all the information I've gotten, it seems I'm actually under no legal obligation to let people drive up in my side yard. So if I wanted, I could put up a fence that blocks their complete access to my yard. Final update. To everyone saying I should have talked to my neighbors before going to Crazy Town, I have numerous times. I told these 2 in April when they drive up on my lawn to install their patio table and chairs, they promised they'd ask me. Every time I've caught neighbors with their cars on my lawn, I explain to them to ask because it's my property, and they say sure. But the next time comes around and they don't. The youngest kids on my street are 12 and 13 and don't come onto my lawn without asking me each time, so no kids would have been hurt, and the side yard is my property. I don't have to let people drive up or even walk on it to get into their backyards. And about the neighbor with the groundhog, where I live, groundhogs aren't considered pests. People see them as rabbits or squirrels or an outdoor cat. My neighbor mentioned it to me, and I offered to call animal control or remove it myself, but she told me that she was going to trap it and let it starve to death in the trap, which if someone did that to a cat or dog or a pet rabbit, bird, hamster, or whatever, that'd be considered animal abuse. And I'm sorry, but I don't think an animal should have to suffer like that. And our last story. I own the pool. You need to leave. My sister is, for a lack of a better word, different. She has Asperger's and gets tense in these types of situations, so I kind of took the lead here to sort of protect her. The cast. Not real names. Ryan, me. Rachel, sister. Karen. Backstory. So me and Rachel live in a wonderful community in Florida. It's awesome. We have nice neighbors. There's a community pool along with tennis, basketball, etc. Around a 6-minute bike ride from our house. We decided we wanted to go at 8:30 p.m. tonight, so we invited our friend who lives somewhat close to us. When she didn't respond, we went to the pool, just the 2 of us. We were splashing and playing for about 45 minutes. Story. We were having a lot of fun, wrestling and splashing with some pool noodles. I love those things. And roughly about 9:15 rolled around, and here enters Karen. When we first emerged from the water, it looked like our friend's mom has come, so we waved and said hello. As we got a better look, we saw an older lady, about your average Karen, blonde hair, the haircut, t-shirt and shorts, whole deal. The following conversation is roughly translated from my memory. Karen, where are your parents? Me, trying to take the lead because I knew exactly where this was going. Oh, we rode our bikes here, it's just the 2 of us. You are not allowed in this pool alone. I am the owner of this pool. Get out. No, the rules don't say we need an adult. It's posted on the pool fence. Yes, you do. Getting greener like the Hulk. The rules changed. Get out. The pool is closed. The pool closes at 11 p.m. Me. The lights are on. Music's playing in the community center. I've never heard. She cuts me off. Get out. She repeats this as I try to calm her down after she was done acting like a chimpanzee. This is the point where I lost all basic respect for her. What if someone gets hurt? Then what are you going to do? Saying that with a smug look. I have my phone. My house is a 6-minute bike ride away. I live here. How old are you? You don't need to know that. You're a stranger. Leave us alone. Me, after I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm an adult and you need to listen to me. Where do you live? I'm telling your parents. Why would I tell you? Get out! No. Then I'm calling the police for trespassing. She walks to her house across the pool. You go ahead and do that. I'm sure they'll love this. We swam for another 45 minutes undisturbed, and sadly, no police were called. Would have made a great story. When you're battling a Karen, be polite, and remember, you are almost always in the green. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.